several of them, not all, on many of these issues, because haven't been confronted by it, haven't read it, and don't know much about it. And there's no one who's going to teach it to them either. Okay, having said that, let's start at the beginning, shall we? Who are the Jews? How did they get into the predicament that we presently see them in? So, I'm going to, for a while tonight, start at the beginning. Okay? And I'll just sketch it out quick. We know about the Bible. I don't have to go too far back to there, but you know the Bible stories, reliable or unreliable. People are always questioning, is it or isn't it? How much of it is true? What is fiction? What is real? What is myth? And so on. But okay, at some point there is a coalescence of some tribal groups, and there's some struggle for what we now call Palestine. It's still going on, of course. That's the terrible thing. If Mel Gibson has anything to say about it, it'll probably go on forever. I hope that he doesn't get control of the UN, although he seems to be more people of his mindset there than others, so kind of frightening. But in any case, where does the word Palestine come from? How many know? I think I'll just keep talking. I probably won't take a break tonight and just see how far we get, okay? Because usually I would take a break at 8:15, but that would be stupid. I'm just going to go a bit, okay? And then as soon as we get tired, we'll go home, okay? All right, Palestine.
Philistines.
There you go. How do you know so much?
I don't know.
And you're supposed to be from Persia. I mean, how would you know that these is Philistines? Or do you speak the native language, you know it's Philistine?
From the Bible it talks about.
Oh, the Bible, yeah. Well, even the Arabs today, in Persia, not Arabs. But, in fact, they don't really get along that well from what I used to. I've been through Iran 3 times, and back in the days of the Shah, I hitchhiked through Iran. And I've been all the way across from Tehran, Tabriz. Someone, you say I was, what kind of music group was that you mentioned? Was I one of the? No, I was really an on-the-road person. And I went through Iran when it was under the Shah, before the Ayatollahs and so on. And, Tabriz, Tehran, Isfahan, Zionism, all the way to Pakistan. When things were peaceful, when you could go to these places. Back in the 60s, early 60s.
What makes you journey over to my country?
I was on the road, man. I was on the road.
Just vacation?
Yeah, no, I wasn't vacation. I always thought when I was a CIA agent. But I wasn't. I'll tell you sometime. Again, all right, but the point is that if you know Arabic, it is true that the word Philistine is the Arabic word for Palestine. The Philistine. That's what the Palestinians call themselves. And it comes from the word Philistine. He's absolutely right. From the Bible. But how did it get applied to this part of the world in the Palestine framework, in the Palestina, as it was called at one point? Find that one on time. I think I'll put something in the pocket that work. Anyone know how it got applied here? Well, the Romans, when they wiped out Jewish existence there, felt that, see, at that time of Jesus and others, oh, hey, thanks. At the time of Jesus and others, don't forget me, I'll give it back to you, okay?
No, I won't.
At the time of Jesus and others, it was still Judea, as you know. And why wasn't it Israel? I'll explain that to you in a momentarily. But the Philistines were on the coast. And we know, in fact, they're where modern Israel is now. They're more like where Tel Aviv was. And the Jews were in the hills, were in the hill country where the Palestinians are today. The whole thing is reversed. By the way, if you did DNA of a lot of those people, not all of them, but maybe 25% of them, I'm sure you'd find that they had ancient Judean DNA of the so-called Palestinian people that we now, because a lot of those villages never left. And they just get culturally swept over into different categories of culture and religion and so on. So if you did DNA, I'm sure you'd find that to be the case. In any case, the Philistines, as we know somewhat, came from Greece. How do we know that? Because they're not even modern Palestinians. They came from Greece. Because they're part of that whole Mycenaean cultural expansion that was going on, time of the Trojan Wars. In fact, they're probably some of the tribes of the Trojan War period. Trojan War, of course, encapsulates all that into a myth, if you want to call it that. But they're probably some of those tribes. The Danites or something they were called, I can't remember some of the different names. Even the Jews say the Philistines who came from Kaftor, and Kaftor is Crete. The Egyptians know them because there are wall reliefs, paintings of Ramesses and some of the other pharaohs fighting off the so-called, what they call the peoples of the sea peoples. And these were Greek sort of marauders, bandits, people like the boat people that landed in Troy and fought that war. That's about 1200 BC period, around the time Moses is supposed to have been leaving Egypt. Maybe he left earlier or something. Am I losing you here? Well, what I'm trying to get it a little bit focused. These people sent up the coast and settled on the coast of Palestine. Now, there were indigenous people there who were what we call Canaanites. But that's really a Phoenician culture. You know, what we know as the Phoenicians. They really were what we would call biblically Canaanites. So the Greek peoples came and got onto the coastal areas, particularly what we now call Gaza, Ashkelon, some of the areas south of Tel Aviv, towards Egypt. That's where they settled in. So the Bible covers the wars, and I think that's historical material there, between David and the Philistines. So by the time we get to David, I'm not treating Moses and Abraham, because that's already in the realm of literature.